In the previous session, we have seen regarding the time response of second order systems. When the input applied is a standard test signal, that is unit step signal. Okay. And because of some disturbance, it was not possible for me to take the class. So what I did, I have recorded the class, and hope you have watched the video. So in that, very clearly I have given you how to get the time response C of t. Okay. And then how to get this error signal, and finally, very important, how these pole locations exist for different values of zeta. For the damping factor, that is 4 possibilities I have given in this diagram. So I've explained it very clearly how the values are there, how the poles locations exist. Now, talking about the next topic, that is time response specifications. Okay, when we started this unit, that is a time response analysis, I had given you some introduction regarding why it is important. Okay, so continuing that concept, that discussion, if we are able to have some specifications, some performance parameters with us, it is very much easier to analyze the output and performance of the system. Okay. It is something like, if you are a student of any category, maybe a pu or degree or postgraduate, what is the parameter? You have some exams. The parameter is, you should attend these many exams, you should have these many of this much of minimum marks. Then based on that criteria, the minimum, the the fcd, the top list, depending upon that percentage grade, it is easy to categorize the student, it is easy to analyze the performance of a student, something like that. Even in case of time response, if we have some parameters, performance parameters with us, it will be very easy to analyze the performance of the time response. Okay. Now coming to some of the points which I have highlighted here. The control systems, they are generally designed with the damping, that is zeta less than 1. We have already seen, we have got this time response C of t for this case only, when input signal, unit step signal is applied as the input. And what kind of response you got? The response was something like this. At the end, it tries to attain a steady state. The steady state value is 1. Okay. From the previous discussion, I'm giving you these details. Now, the time response of the second order systems for the unit step, it is generally a damped oscillatory in nature. This figure, it is damped. The oscillations exist. However, these oscillations, as the time progresses, the oscillations, they tend to decay exponentially. Okay. So this is one graph I have shown you here. This diagram is very important. Here, some of the specifications I have marked. You can see whatever from this pencil I have drawn, this is the response that we have got when you apply unit step as the input. What is happening? From 0, the curve is increasing. It attains some peak value here. We call this overshoot. Okay. Then sudden decrease, you have undershoot. Then again, increase and decrease in the amplitudes. So this is all your transient response. And finally, it will come to a steady state. So this is the response which I have drawn for the second order system when unit step signal is applied as the input. You can see from this red, I have a red color, I have indicated some of the time parameters, T subscript D, TR, and hope it is visible to you, TD, TR, TP, TS. Okay, these 4 values. Along with that, MP. So these are some of the performance parameters for analyzing the time response. Okay, I have given you an analogy also how the performance parameters are important to analyze the performance. Okay, so these are 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 MP. So these are 5 parameters we will be looking into how they are defined. It is observed that the step response has a number of overshoots and undershoots. You can observe here, you have many ups and downs here. This is called overshoot, this is your undershoot. So like this, it is varying continuously. However, the amount, the amplitude is getting decreased as the time progresses. So this is what is observed in this given diagram. So there are many overshoots and undershoots with respect to the final steady state. Since these they decay exponentially, obviously amplitude same nahi hai, okay, gradually as the time progresses it is getting decreased. Since they are decreasing exponentially, the peak overshoot, I'm talking about this, okay, the peak overshoot, it is the first overshoot, okay, because you have many overshoots, second time, third time, and here also a small increase, that is fourth time. However, peak overshoot means the first time how the system changes and attains a highest value, that is called peak overshoot. Okay, so let us see some of these parameters one by one. Which are those parameters? In the diagram I have listed. One is your MP. Here you have TD. Hope it is visible to you. Here it is MP. You have TR, TP, and TS. So let us take these one by one. Some of the points I have listed. Frequently, the performance characteristics of the control system, they are specified in terms of transient response. Obviously, you won't get much of the information through the steady state. The transient response will give you much of the information. Okay. So in specifying the transient response of the control system, when unit step is applied as the input, it is common to specify some of the following performance specifications or parameters. So these are 5 I have listed here. So let us take those one by one. The first one is a delay time. So what is a delay time? Probably this is a very known term to you, even in your electronics, that is analog circuits or electronic devices. Probably you might have studied some responses for some circuits. You might have studied about the delay time, rise time, fall time. These are very commonly known terms. Even in your network theory, probably while studying the oscillations, you might have studied about this. So delay time, that is T subscript D, this is the symbol. This is the time required by the system or for the response to reach 50% of the final value at very first time. This is very important because when I am telling you that the response is changing, increase and decrease, something like this, it is it is having the overshoots many times, first time, second time, and third time, like this. In that, only the first value is considered. At this first peak, these parameters are considered. So what is the delay time? It is the time required for the response to reach 50% of the final value. You can look into the diagram for much clear view. Suppose this is your 0 and steady state value finally we will be attaining as 1. So this is your final value. Starting from 0, you have to reach the final value, that is 1 for unit step applied as the input. We can also call this as unit step response. So how the response is changing? Starting from 0, it will slowly increase. It will attain here. Okay, it will cross this point. However, between 0 to 1, if you just mark a point, that is 0.5, between 0 to 1, that is 0.5, half of the maximum value. So this time is called delay time, where your response curve, it has reached 50%. See, this is your 50%, this is your 50%. Altogether, you will get a steady state value 1. However, as you're having oscillations, your response will not stop here. It will keep on oscillating. Okay, that's a different thing. However, how you define a delay time? It is the time taken for the response, time required for the response to attain 50% of the final value. That is called delay time. Okay, now coming to the rise time. Okay, here delay time, the time corresponding to point A. So in this figure, for your better understanding, I have marked points A, B, C like that. So point A corresponds to this 50% of the final value. Coming to the second one, rise time. It is the time for the response to rise from 0 to 100% of the final value. Okay, there are two criteria here, not only two, just for your understanding I have given two. There will be probably another one, critical damping also. For if I consider under damped systems, that is when zeta value is taken less than 1. If I take this case, damping factor less than 1, then I can define a rise time as it is the time required for the response to rise from 0 to 100% of the final value. Okay, let me go back to the figure and show you how it is. So rise time is the time required by the response to reach 100%. Okay, here. So this is your rise time. This is the rise time value, the time required for the response to start from 0 and achieve 100%. Okay, the final steady value, steady state value, that is 0 to 1 at the first time. Okay, not every other peaks, only for the first time, first overshoot. This is for zeta less than 1. But if we have some other case, I have given that also. The second case I have given is for over damped systems. For over damped system, it is not 0 to 100%, it is 0 to 90%. So if I want to draw the rise time for over damped system, how can I write? If this is 0 to 50, half, okay, this is 1, here it will be 0.75. So somewhere around here, you will get 0.9. Okay, just divide this 0 to 1 as 1 point each, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3 like that. So somewhere here you will get the 0.9. So that time, this will become your rise time. Okay, this is for over damped systems. But what I have shown you in the figure, that is point B, it is to reach 100% of the final value. Talking about the third one, that is peak time, TP. In the figure you can see what is the peak time. Peak time is, it is the time required for the response to achieve the highest overshoot, that is peak value, that is point C. So this time is called peak time. So let me define it properly. So time required for the response to reach the first peak of the overshoot. So always we are considering the first peak, okay? First peak of the overshoot, that is called peak time. So time corresponding to point C in the figure. Now coming to the fourth one. It is peak overshoot M subscript P, MP. So it is how